Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Breeze. Breezeway Productions The Breeze, where we bring you the latest in independent films and television that you can check out. That's going to be out very soon. And we have Antonio Diaz here with us today to talk about two very exciting projects. We're going to have two interviews back to back that you'll be able to check out. And the first one that we're going to talk about is Broken Bread, the season 2 premiere, which will be on Tastemade and KCET. So, Antonio, how you doing today?
Doing good, Alex. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Right on. Thanks for coming on the show to talk to us a little bit about Broken Bread. So tell us a little bit about it.
So basically, like in a nutshell, Broken Bread is a show that's hosted by Chef Roy Choi, who started the Kogi truck here in Los Angeles. And he's also done a show with like Jon Favreau on Netflix. He was also part of the Chef movie where he kind of helped Jon Favreau and the team there to learn how to cook for the show. And Broken Bread is kind of a departure than anything else that he's done in the past, and which is focused on broken structures of our society through the lens of food. And it's co-produced with Tastemade and KCT slash PBS SoCal. And this is the second season, which kind of highlights everything from agricultural structures and systems here in California through the restaurant industry that has been facing COVID, and how they've been kind of finding new ways to help the industry and also supply, food access to the people that are most affected. And so this is really like Roy's journalistic endeavor, where he's an investigator, he's a journalist, and we kind of go through all these different minority populations here in California, especially in Los Angeles, where we're focused on broken structures.
I was able to check out the first episode, which will be premiering on Tuesday, January 25th. You have a wonderful guest that joins Roy as well. He sits down with Wolfgang Puckett's Spago, which is a wonderful restaurant in Beverly Hills, for those that aren't aware. So tell me what it was like working with Wolfgang and what he had to say on this matter.
Yes. I love Wolfgang because he's like a character himself, right? And he is no stranger to the camera. I've worked with him in the past. And full context, so I'm the director for all 6 episodes of the show. But I've worked with Wolfgang in the past, and I knew immediately that he was going to be like just a funny, interesting, but also insightful person to talk to with Roy. And he's also like a very funny character, but he's a little bit more quiet. He's a little bit more reserved, but then he lights up when he kind of piggybacks off of the energy of other people. So with Wolfgang, we wanted to get Roy and Wolfgang in the kitchen together, because 2 chefs, Wolfgang like a pioneer in his own regard, and in the Spago kitchen, like let's get them both just cooking. And this is important because the whole episode, actually a lot of these episodes are focused on very serious subject matter, right? So as a director, it's important to inject like little moments of levity and humor throughout these episodes, because we're dealing with such important topics. So this was like a moment where let's kind of take a break from all the serious matters, and let's just get both of them cooking and see what what that looks like. And then, they sit down and they talk about the current state of the industry, and we get into the journalism aspect of it all. But having someone like Wolfgang talk about the current state of the industry from his perspective was so interesting, because he comes from a very like gilded age of restaurant. I mean, Spago is like the ultimate luxury, right? And even then, his restaurants were also being affected by the pandemic. But it's important to look at pioneers like himself that people look up to and they'll listen to. So part of this episode was about how has the restaurant industry been before, how is it right now, and who are the new pioneers and players that are pushing the industry forward. So with Wolfgang, we kind of take a look back at how were restaurants functioning, right? How
Yeah.
did these restaurants look like from the past and from this sort of like Gilded Age? And someone like him who is like at the top of his game, what kind of insight can we get from someone like him? Talking
Right.
to Roy, who is like born at the streets. I mean, this guy is like food truck
Yeah.
street chef. So the dynamic is just so interesting for television. And especially as a director, I'm like, yes, let's get the high end Wolfgang, and then we get street culture, street vibes,
That food fair
no.
where you go and you're trying all of the food that like is just lined by vendors that can't afford a brick and mortar, but they're out there, making their traditional
Avenue
dishes.
26. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What that's how the episode opens, and that you explore delicious types of food, but then you say that there's been some trouble with that because of the city. What is the state of food festivals and things like that where they're not able to go out and set up shop and do those kinds of things?
This place called Avenue 26 kind of was it exploded during the pandemic, but it existed before
Yeah.
already. And basically it's like a makeshift outdoor festival that is not sanctioned by the city. It's just really created by the people. So a group of street vendors got together and they just opened up this outdoor market with no permits, none of that. And they just started selling food. And then the pandemic hit, people got wind of it, especially TikTokers, and the whole
Mhm.
thing exploded. Like now it
Yeah.
became this massive thing. But the beautiful part of it is this was created by the community. This was created by the people. And it just shows the resiliency of what people can do during a time of hardship to support each other, to feed people. Even if this is like completely rebel, illegal, non-permitted sort of business business structure, but at
Yeah.
the same time, like we all have to survive here. Like everyone's just kind of doing what they
What
can.
you got to
So
do.
it's
Yeah.
what you got to do. Yeah. So it's troubling that LA still has is not necessarily providing the right permitting or access to food vendors
Right.
to sell their food on the streets, which is
Mhm.
ridiculous. Like that's part of the DNA of Los Angeles. That's like
Right.
street food vending, but there's still so many obstacles and obstacles that you have to kind of face to just do that.
You have a lot of amazing restaurants that are lined up throughout the series that you're going to be talking with and showcasing. Watching this, I got very hungry because the cinematography on all of this was gorgeous. I would just wanted you to touch on for a second how you filmed it, because it just felt so lifelike, so beautifully edited. It looks savory and like you want to reach through the screen to eat it. And I can segue that into first you started with Wolfgang, and then you go to another chef with Vietnamese food and Vietnamese culture that's in the San Gabriel Valley, or I forget exactly where it was, but you showcased like how they were making all of that food. Do you want to touch on how you were able to film that and working with that restaurateur?
Yeah, so as far as like the cinematography that you mentioned, I
Yeah.
gotta give a shout out to our director of photography, Chris Lowe, who we sat down early on about the project and we just kind of shared our references or inspirations of how we like to shoot and what inspires us. And I think like for me as a director, like I love to work with extremely talented cinematographers and people that really understand the visual aspect and give them as much freedom as possible, not to kind of dictate too much as far as like what the look and feel is,
Yeah.
but put them in a position where they could feel a sense of ownership of the visuals. So props to him. And we shot a lot in slow motion because we wanted to illustrate this like heightened sense of reality through the food, through the visuals, through the environments and the ambience, because we want to make it cinematic too. This is like very important information. There's a lot of journalism.
Yeah.
You know, there's a ton of journalism, but we're still making television. Like it still has to be entertaining.
It was and very delectable to look at and learn about. So if you're in the LA area, you can check out these restaurants that are making all sorts of wild dishes that are, you know, culturally showcasing of the heritage of the area that they're from, that they want to show, to feed to people, and that they enjoy it and they love it. And I could sense that while you're talking about it, you enjoyed it and loved it while making it as well. I'm sure that it was delicious. And I want to thank you for coming on the show to talk about Broken Bread, which is going to be on Tastemade and PBS station KCET. You can download the Tastemade app and then check out some of the information about it there. I thought that it was wonderful. So stay tuned for the premiere, which is going to be on Tuesday, January 25th at 8 p.m. Pacific time on Tastemade and KCET. And I want to thank you, Director Antonio Diaz, for coming to the show today to talk about Broken Bread with Roy Choi.
Thank you so much, Alex.
What is this show called?
This show is called Broken Bread.
I'm a street cook.
Hey, Chef, how you doing, man?
My whole existence in this world is to nourish and feed people.
This is one of the most delicious things I've eaten all year.
I want this show to be about the power of us as humans to come together again.
Follow me.
Dude, I told them this is not my cooking show. This is my interview show. I'm trying to ask questions and count tortillas, man. I can't do it.
Broken Bread is about showing the love and the work, just the future of this industry. We got to put value in the people that are behind the scene.
Exploitation should not be normal. It just shouldn't.
It doesn't have to be just taking from, but taking care. That's the revolution.
The delicious
The
revolution.
delicious revolution.
You need a prop agenda against a propaganda.
There we go.
We're breaking bread.